Yeah, look, anytime you go on the road, get a four-game sweep is special. And, I think Rice obviously not playing as well as they would like to, and their tradition and history says they need to. But very good club. Proud of our guys. We were able to win in different ways. Obviously, Fincher was really good Friday night. We were able to have the 2 3 run innings and pull it out. He threw the complete game shutout. And then game one, Saturday, fell behind, had to come back. It was good to see our guys fight back and claw and scratch and do whatever it takes to win the game. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see the end of it. So, but I was able to watch it in the locker room with Fincher and Gibson and on the telephone. So, very proud of our guys, and I think they carried over into game two. I think Taylor leading off the game with a home run and kind of set the tone, and then we're off to the races, scoring 20 runs, and then same thing Sunday. I thought offensively we were locked in, and Wharf was really good on the mound. I thought all our starters and all our relievers were very good this weekend. Very proud of them, and yeah, anytime you can get 4 games, it's tough. Tough to win one game on the road, much less four. So we put ourselves in a position to where we pretty much control our own destiny, so to speak, and it's just a matter of making that decision to come compete every day and know that people are chasing you. And I think our guys have handled it so far, and obviously we got a big weekend coming up in front of us.
Go ahead, Corey.
Lane, since the beginning of conference play, I think you could make the argument that you have the two hottest hitters in the league in Hunter Wells and Parker Bates. Talk about them just being able to, really kind of spark this offense since you guys started conference play 4 weeks ago, and just really just how big of a role they've been able to provide this team in this really hot start in conference play.
Yeah, Hunter, he in all my years coaching, he's probably one of the best barrel to ball skills. I mean, his swing is unorthodox. You probably wouldn't draw it up that way, and he's got a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? He does a lot of things different. Let's keep it at that. Yeah, Tyler's helping me out there. We'll just say he does a lot of different things. For instance, during scouting report, since he's been here, Hunter won't look at the pitcher. You'll look at him, he'll be looking at the ground. He doesn't want to know much information. He just wants to know velocity, and that's it. So to each his own, and he's had success. But when he gets hot, he can do some damage. He's a really good hitter. Obviously, I saw something on Twitter, something yesterday that I guess in the last 23 games he's raised his average 200 points. Amazing. So he had a good weekend, and Parker always has the ability to change a game, turn it around with one swing, and he just gets pitched so tough. And I think Netterville hitting behind him has helped him. And the beauty of this team, and it's been this way all year, is we lose Netterville, our leading RBI guy for the weekend, and another guy steps up. We get Matulia back, we get McConnell back, Darius Myers, whoever. It seems to be somebody different all the time. And Manny Garcia, another one, seems to be up there when the game we need a big hit to drive in runs, and he gets it done. So, but yeah, to get Hunter and get Parker going, that's huge for us, because both of those guys will probably go down as two of the better hitters to ever play here at Louisiana Tech, if you're asking me. So it definitely helps our offense, helps lengthen our lineup if those two guys are rolling.
And Coach, just to talk a little bit about the pitching staff, I know Ryan's had some struggles the last few times out. When you look at those struggles, kind of what are you seeing from him on the mound, and do you kind of change up how you manage maybe game one of that doubleheader on Saturday with some of his struggles that he has had?
Yeah, I think the struggles are easy. I think it's pretty simple. He knows this. He's leaving the ball up in the zone, and he's giving hitters advantage counts. Look, when you're falling behind college hitters and you go 1-0 or 2-0 or 3-1, and you got to come with the bullet, they're going to do damage. I mean, they just are. It doesn't matter how hard you're throwing. And he's leaving. If you go back and look, a lot of the times he's getting hit really hard. It's at the belt or higher, and you got to keep the ball down. Especially the other day at Rice, the wind was blowing out. At Southern Miss a couple weekends ago, wind's blowing out that day, and when you give hitters advantage counts at this level, they're gonna hurt you. It doesn't matter how hard you're throwing. His velocity's been good. His breaking ball's been okay. He hadn't been able to get beneath their barrels like normally he would. But part two of your question is interesting. Maybe, I guess, is my answer. It may affect. We won't change our rotation. It'll still be Fincher, Jennings, Gibson, Wharf. Stay with what's working. And yeah, I think it was like the other day. You get in those 7 inning games, man, and it's second or third inning. You can't mess around. If a guy's getting knocked around or he's walking guys, you got to make a move. You got to roll, and the game will get away from you. You run out of at bats. So the 7 inning games are different, but I think, yeah, it could affect the way we manage. We're not going to change the rotation going into this weekend, but I think if we can tell early on Ryan doesn't have it, or Cade or whoever, I think you're going to have to make a move quickly. And it's good that Fincher's giving us those innings and eating them up and throwing complete games. You can't expect that every time out, but to have all your bullpen available for the rest of the weekend is definitely a luxury that. And our bullpen's been good. So we get Krieger back, and he's been outstanding. But it could affect the way we manage moving on, certainly.
Go ahead, Carter.
Yeah, Lane, and if you could just kind of expound upon this staff leading the nation in shutouts. I think you guys have 7 now. Finchers from this past weekend, I think he's got 2 complete shutouts. And he was also part of another shutout earlier in the year. What do you feel like has been the big catalyst, for this staff to be able to? You guys have only played 31 games, and 7 of those the opponent hasn't scored. That's a pretty good percentage there.
Yeah, if the other team doesn't score, you're probably going to win. We tell them that every time. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Honestly, if I'm going to just be transparent here, and I think all the coaches and our players will tell you, going out of the fall into the spring, I think our starting pitching was a concern. We were still out at Ruston High School, and we were doing damages. We knew we would have a good offense because those guys were struggling against us, and I was concerned about the starting pitching. Even Fincher, there were times he didn't look great in our inter squads and our scrimmages, but it's been a pleasant surprise. Those guys have. Number one, I guess they attack the strike zone. That's number one. You have to command your fastball, and our guys are doing that at a very high level for the most part. And again, you talk about the 7 inning games, and you got a guy like Gibson that can navigate a lineup 3 or 4 times, and the game's over. It doesn't take much. He did it against Ole Miss. He's done it. He did it against Southern Miss, so he has that ability. And yeah, they've been a pleasant surprise. But look, Coach Silva does a great job. I don't think he gets enough credit, not only with the job he does with our pitchers, but the job he does calling a ball game. Calling pitches are very stressful. That's a stressful thing to do throughout a college baseball game, especially a 4-game weekend. And he does a great job calling a game, and he's in sync with our catchers and our pitchers. And they have the ability to shake off. The other day, Wharf shook off and walked a guy, and it made all of us upset. But they have that ability. If they don't like the call, they can move to another pitch. But he has a great amount of trust with those guys, and so do we. And our starting pitching is, like you said, Corey, it's just been great, and honestly, been a pleasant surprise to be quite frank.
How surprised are you? Obviously, Krieger worked so hard to get back so quickly from the arm surgery, but going out there and giving you 3 innings of relief, were you surprised that he's at that point in his recovery, and how much of a luxury is it for you guys knowing that you can stretch him out when you need to?
I guess yes and no. If you know Krieger, don't let the nice, good old boy fool you. He's a competitor. He's got a mean streak, and that's what I love about him. He's a very good athlete. If it wasn't for Wells playing so good, he'd probably starting at third for us, to be quite honest. And if you know his work ethic and how bad he wants to be on the field, that does not surprise me. He got back, but yeah, it's tough to get back really a month early off Tommy John surgery. And yeah, he looked good the other day. I thought he got the comebacker, bases loaded, and 1 out. He got the ball hit back to him. He turns around immediately and fires a strike, center cut right to McLeod, double play, 1-6-3. And I thought right then you could almost feel him exhale and go, okay, I know his heart rate's still up. He hadn't been out there. The juices are flowing, and whether it's a high leverage spot or not, when you get on the field and you haven't been out there and you want to produce and you want to show the coaches and your teammates and the fans, hey, I'm worthy of being out here. We take all that into account, and even though he is a high-level competitor, it's different when you get on the game mound. But he is when he got that double play ball, and that's what athletes do, turns center cut, and I knew he's going to be good the next 2 innings. He was, but you're right. The ability now that he threw 3 innings the other day, he can long relief for us. He can close the ball game for us, and it was interesting when I was in the back with Finch and Cade. And the game was hanging in the balance. We go to the bottom of the 7th. We took the lead. I kind of looked at them, and I was like, "Who we going with, Tompkins or Krieger?" I'm not in the decision. And ultimately the coaches went with Tompkins, and of course I thought that was the right one, and it worked out for us. But to have that luxury of having two guys that can come in, throw strikes with multiple pitches, and close out a ball game and compete at a high level, it's a good feeling as a coach.
Yeah, Laney, kind of to piggyback off of that, I know you talked to us after I believe it was the series opener against Arkansas, and you were very blunt about we need to find somebody that can be able to come in and close games out for us. So it's almost as if in a month's 5 weeks time, you guys have gone from potentially not having a closer to two legitimate guys that you guys have a lot of confidence in to come in 7th, 8th, or 9th inning and get a close for you guys.
No question. I did say that. I remember saying it. At that time, Tompkins was hurt. He was out for 2 weeks, and we really were closing by committee, and still a little bit we are. But Krieger was out. He wasn't able to pitch, and we went from not really having a closer and kind of maybe a guy getting out here. You saw it at Tulane, I guess, on that Sunday. We used 3 guys in the ninth to win the ball game, and it was kind of whatever it takes. We'll piece it together. If it's got to be get one out here or what have you, maybe one pitch, and go to the next guy, whatever we feel good about the matchup. To now, you're right. We got 2 guys we feel confident handing on the baseball, and quite frankly, look, those are 2 guys you hand them the ball in the ninth, their hand isn't shaking. There's a level of confidence there, and they feel like they can get it done. And you have a good feeling when you go to hand them the ball and you don't see it shaking. And look, in high leverage spots, everybody's heart rate's up, and they're going to be amped up. But you just feel the confidence exuding from those young men that. And look, Tompkins is one of those guys that I don't even think he knows the situation half, which is good. I think he's got that short-term memory, and just give me the ball and let me do my thing. I don't really care how many runners or what's going on. And as a closer, you need to have that mentality. And it does feel good to have multiple guys that can close the game. Because look, when you're talking about 4 on the weekend, really and truly, you could be in 4 barn burners and 1-run games and need 3 outs in the ninth, and you can't use the same guy 4 games, so you need that extra guy. It's a good feeling, no doubt about it.
Obviously, you guys were without Netterville this weekend. I know Ray looked like he got a little banged up as well. I know McLeod came in and played something short, played extremely well. What are those guys' status for the weekend coming up?
Still not sure with still Netterville. He's working. I've said it over and over. He creates a lot of torque in his swing. He's really strong and physical, probably more so. He uses his core. It's a violent swing because he is so strong and physical, more than probably a lot of our other hitters. So you see it on TV all the time. I mean, that oblique is it's tricky. It can be a week, and that can turn into a month. And he doesn't need to play if he isn't 100%. We don't need to lose him for a long period of time. We didn't practice yesterday. We'll talk to him today, and I know he was doing everything he could this weekend. He was with us and working with a trainer and other people to get better. And if he can go, he'll go because he has a level of toughness. We don't have to worry about that. And as far as Alex, he hurt his back. He's had some back issues his whole life. And last week at practice, he hurt his back, and he was not moving around. He didn't tell us he was hurt, but really, me and Coach Gaspar didn't like the way he was moving around. It had nothing to do with punching out and all that. I just didn't think he was moving around. I thought some balls got by him that he usually gets to, and that basically tells us he's probably hurting. And you're right, put McLeod in there. He works hard every day, and he played well. So I fully anticipate Alex being ready to go. If he's not, we'll go with Logan, and he did play good this weekend, so it was good to see that. But we've kind of had that next man up mentality all year, and it's kind of worked for us. And that's all on the players. That's just guys getting their opportunity and producing, and shows what kind of team we have that they just want to win. They want to win, and they want to leave a legacy here that'll be remembered. And this kind of team's really fun to coach. It's not, of course, when you're winning, it's fun, but they're just good kids, man. They work hard. They have high character. They pull for each other, and that's what makes it fun.
Go ahead, Corey.
Lane, I'm fully anticipating an angry Southern Miss team getting off the bus Friday. What are you guys expecting with another 4-game set with these guys?
Yeah, me too. Look, I know they'll be ready. They'll come out with their hair on fire. So will we. We addressed it as soon as the Sunday game was over with Rice. They've kind of been at the top of our league for a long time, and and that's where we want to be. To beat the man, to be the man, you got to beat the man, so to speak, or you got to knock them off. And we were able to go down there in round one. We were able to take care of them, and they don't lose a lot of games, much less series, at their home park. So we know they're going to be ready. They'll be coming after us. They don't want to give up that crown easy. I can tell you, they want to retain it, and rightfully so. And they deserve it till somebody knocks them off. And it ought to be a tremendous weekend. We hope our students come out, our fans. It ought to be great atmosphere and electric. And again, I've said this since post game on Sunday. You don't want to put too much on one series or one game. Especially our guys have enough on them as far as pressure and things of that nature. They know what's at stake. But if you really want to break it down, it could be one of the bigger series in the history of our program, conference series at home. So it's a big one. They're all big, but when you're talking about possible championship on the line and a lot of stuff we have on the line playing, it turns out to be a really, really big series. And this is why you come to Louisiana Tech. It's what we tell our guys, why you came here, to play in these type series. And you're going against the team that's really the best team in our league, I guess you could say, till somebody knocks them off, and wouldn't have it any other way. And we're looking forward to it, and that's what we want this program to be. We want every weekend to be a huge weekend, and we want it to for our fans to come out, for it to be rowdy and loud, and can't wait for Friday to get here.
I think I saw that Southern Miss, their leading hitter Fisher, went down with a hand injury or cut his hand. Does that kind of change anything about how you prepare? Do you still go into the series prepare for him to be in the lineup?
Yeah, we'll prepare for him to play. I'm not buying into that too much. I'm close with their staff. I heard the same thing, and yeah, I don't look. We went without Netterville, our leading RBI guy, for a weekend, won 4 games. So not the good thing, but thing good for them is they're hitting now, and they can pitch at such a high level. I think it ain't even close. They have the best pitching staff in our league as far as bullpen and starters and everyone, top to bottom. It isn't even close. They pitch at a very high level, and I think they were struggling a little bit offensively when we played them earlier, and now they're hitting. So now they're even more dangerous. And he's a good hitter. Obviously, hits 3-hole for them, and one of their better guys. I think he's tops in our league on base percentage or something. And it would be a blow to them, but they got plenty of hitters over there like we do. They'll plug another one in there. They'll be ready to go. And I don't think you change anything as far as preparation. You just prepare that he's going to be playing and in the lineup.
Lane, this year's obviously had a lot of differences to it, and I think this coming weekend is another one of those differences. In a normal year, you guys only meet once, but this year you're meeting twice. I mean, just does it give it a different feel, or does it change anything from whether it be inside the clubhouse or outside the clubhouse? Is there any difference to having to play a Southern Miss team 8 games in a year instead of 3?
Yeah, I mean, it is different. You look at the other side, Old Dominion and Charlotte, obviously the 2 best teams over there, they play 8 times too. It's kind of weird how it's worked out. They actually play back-to-back weekends, so it'll be 8 straight. It feels a little bit like pro ball a little bit because you're playing your rival, kind of like the Red Sox, Yankees, and I feel like Southern Miss is our rival. We're trying to get where they are. So it is kind of different that you're playing them 8 times in a year. And there'll be that, you don't have to break down video as much going into this series, either team, because we know them, we've seen them. They've seen all our starters, we've seen all theirs, most of their relievers. So you really don't have to spend a lot of time breaking down video and games and things like that. But, the one thing you do look at is they are playing bad. I don't think they've lost since we beat them. So they're playing really well. They've obviously found their groove, and we know they're going to come in and be ready to go, and it ought to be fun. But yeah, it is kind of different that you're playing them again so quickly and so many times in league play. But that's the way it falls. And I guess if you want to be the true champion and you're a true competitor, there really isn't any other way you'd want it.
You look at where you guys are at, obviously in the top 15. I think Charlotte, ODU entered the top 25 this weekend. I think Southern Miss is in a poll or 2 as well. Have you ever seen this conference as competitive as it is since you took over at Louisiana Tech?
No. It's obviously I've been saying it forever though. I coached at Southern Miss in the old Conference USA when a lot of other teams, essentially the American Conference, was in it, and it was always such a competitive league. But Conference USA has always been a great baseball league. There's always been great baseball coaches, players, teams, and I've said it over and over. And this year, no doubt about it, Ben. Look, it's obvious ODU and Charlotte are really good, and I think Southern Miss should be ranked. There's no reason they shouldn't be in a poll either, and that's the way you want it. We want our league to be one of the best in the country, and I think we're deserving a 14 bid league. And if you get to that point, you're getting a lot of respect as a league, baseball wise, and yes, we want as many teams as we can get in postseason, and right now it looks like we're trending that way. And you know, the one thing you look at, we don't have to play ODU and Charlotte. We missed them this year, so that we are playing Old Dominion into the year for a 2-game set right before the tournament, which will be interesting. But no, the league's really good right now. A lot of teams playing well. Even some of the teams with records that you might not think are that good, they're playing well too. They're getting big wins and knocking off some Power 5 teams. So very good for our conference.
Perfect. And that's all that we have time for today. So thanks for coming on, Coach. And
All right.
I'll let you get out of here.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks.